Okay, we're on week 9 of my 12-week design challenge where I'm taking an intimate apparel garment of some sort and converting it from a digital product to a physical garment. So this week I made an overbust corset. So this is sort of an evolution of what I did 2 weeks ago where I made a pattern and then a physical garment of an underbust corset. First, I'm going to modify the pattern to apply the fit changes that I decided that I wanted from that underbust corset. It was a little bit too tight in hips in the back and a little bit around the circumference in the upper part of the body as well. And then I'm going to figure out the cup shape and how I want the center front to look. And then I'm going to actually keep the back the same. So I'm going to do those modifications now and simulate in Clo. Okay, so when I first drafted this pattern a couple of weeks ago, I had actually drafted an overbust corset, but the shape wasn't looking quite right, and I was going to make an underbust corset anyway, so I kind of abandoned the overbust part of it and just made the underbust corset pattern. So this week, what I did was come back to that original drafted pattern and refine the bust shaping of it. Okay, so here is what I have completed for day 1. Let me change this to woven muslin for you. So this is what I expect it to look like. I think it's super cool. This is how I do my pattern drafting in Clo. So I've just drafted the pattern. I've added my seam allowances. I've marked where I want my grommets to be in the back here. And I've kind of put a few places where I know I'm going to add boning. Otherwise, it's going to be over the seams, and I'll have a busk at center front. And then I just marked in how wide my binding is going to be at the top. And I just put a point at the bottom here, but I can go like this. And I'm going to use 1 centimeter binding at the bottom as well, so that I know where my busk goes. And then I just put a few, like, this is my busk down here. I just created a rectangle that's the length and width of my busk, so I know like how wide it's going to be, right? So there it is there, and I know it's going to fit in my pattern, and those are just kind of general markings so that I make sure I don't sew over the busk for the top and bottom of this pattern where the binding is going to go. Okay, so that's it for day 1. I need to go and iron my fabric, and I think I can still get it cut out today. So that's it for today. Bye. So if you're interested in learning how to use Clo 3D specifically for the development of intimate apparel, you should definitely check out my courses at Wayfinder Intimate Apparel Academy. I teach you the basics of using Clo for the development of intimate apparel, and then in the advanced class, I teach you how to draft an underwire bra from measurements. So you'll learn how to draft a underwire bra pattern in Clo, but you'll also learn how to use Clo to apply any method of pattern making that you want to try out. I also hold a monthly online call for my students to come and ask questions or show their work or get feedback. And if you're unable to make the call, the lessons are also recorded and uploaded to the community so you can view them on your own time. So if this is the kind of thing you're interested in, go check out my course, wayfinder3d.com, and I'll be happy to see you over there. Okay, so yesterday I finished cutting out the corset and I realized I missed a few parts. So I missed panel number 5 right here. And I have to be extra careful about cutting out my stuff because I realized after I published the last corset video that one of the panels are in upside down, and I'll cut that in here so you can see what I'm talking about. Somehow the fit of that corset wasn't destroyed by that mistake. But anyways, a lesson to be learned for this one, just be extra careful when assembling the corset. So I just have to do number 5 panel, and then I have to do, I just have to cut out the facings for the center front and the center back. And then I'm gonna get into assembly for today. So that's it, let's get into it. Okay, so I got the binding on the bottom edge of the corset and I got all the boning in and I laced it up. I put the grommets on as well, and then so I laced it up so I could try it on, and I'll splice in the first fit. I found that it was a little bit wide just at the upper neckline here, so that needed to be reduced by about 3 centimeters. So there's a few things that I need to change up. So I'm gonna unpick the outer seam and try and close that up a little bit. But other than that, I think it looks pretty good. I love the hip gussets and I'm excited to see the final thing. So I'm gonna make the adjustments and I'm gonna finish the binding on the top and then I'll do the final try on. So what I actually ended up doing was just making some gathering stitches along that upper neckline, which Sophia suggested I try, and then I tried it on again, and I thought I could get enough reduction out of those gathering stitches. And then I sewed on the binding, sort of easing in that gathering to not have a gathered look, but just an extra fullness at that point. And so then I put on my binding. Don't look too closely at my binding technique. It's going to need some refinement. On the last corset I used coutil for the binding, and the binding sewed on really neatly, but it was very hard to get neat corners. And so I tried this other thrifted fabric. I don't even know what the content of the fabric is, but it was much too flimsy for the binding. So this one was also very hard to sew on neatly. So the binding's a work in progress. But after the binding was applied, the corset was finished, and here is the final reveal. So here it is, styled with jeans. This is probably how I would wear it. I also wish I had like a white button-down shirt or like a white shirt dress to wear underneath. I think that would be cute. But I was really happy with the fit, especially considering my first version that I made in Clo. And if I hadn't had a 3D model of that, my first version would have looked like that first 3D model that I would have had in Clo. So here it is without a garment underneath. And I think the fit is pretty good. I probably might modify that upper neckline a little bit more. It fits pretty closely, but I think I could get a better shape out of the bust from the upper neckline. But I also think that a cupped corset would probably work better for me. And I don't like the squishiness happening at the back there. So I think I would probably raise that back, maybe add straps so that I have like a U back in the back. So that's all I got for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you're enjoying the series. Go check out the rest of the garments that I've made if you're interested in this type of thing. And thanks for being here. I hope you learned something, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.
Goodbye. Make sure to like and subscribe, please.